You, get on stage now.
Okay, I guess I can play a little ditty. Honestly.
Come on. Give him a hand.
I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared at all.
Of course. That was my very first movie. We shot that in a old restaurant in Chinatown in Los Angeles. And that's finally when he wins Veronica Corningstone over. So I definitely remember shooting that, and it was a blast. I think we did a couple tracking shots as he walked across the table. We did little pop shots all over the place. We had the big trick with the fire coming out of the flutes. I remember doing that, yeah. Yeah, it goes back to an old teacher of mine in Chicago, this guy who taught theater and comedy and improv. And he used to say, always play at the top of your intelligence, even when you're playing dumb. So if you're gonna be dumb, be brilliantly dumb.
I'm pretty sure that's not love. Damn it.
I love carpet. I love desk.
Brick, are you just looking at things in the office and saying that you love them?
I love lamp.
I mean, the idea is, especially with comedies, there's kind of a almost set storytelling structure that people expect. And we're always trying to mess with that a little bit. We don't want it to just feel like, oh, you know this is gonna happen, you know this is gonna happen. So, yeah, with every kind of emotional beat in the movie, we try and twist it, turn it upside down. That's the most exciting feeling you can ever have in a movie theater, is when something happens that you never saw coming. And all of a sudden the movie comes to life when that happens.
When I'm done with these mutts, I'm gonna wipe my shoes on the curb.
Oh yeah, Jack Lime? When I'm done with you, I hope we can be friends in the future and maybe see a movie together.
So fun. It's the only time I ever directed a scene out of a tent. I was in a tent with like 9 cameras and like the headset, and because we had so many things going on, and it was crazy. And then Kanye West came into the tent at one point and wanted to rap his new song for me, so he was like rapping in my face, and it was insanity. It was fantastic insanity.
I just don't know why we have to tell the people what they need to hear. Why can't we just tell them what they want to hear?
I mean, I think the line of the movie is, why do we have to show people what they need to hear? Why can't we just show them what they want to hear? And in a way, that kind of sums up all of American culture. It's like, forget doing the right thing, forget helping society. Let's just give people what they want and make a lot of money. And I love the idea that Ron Burgundy and his guys are the ones who cracked trash news, you know, that basically in some ways ruined America.
And what do they want to hear, Ron?
That we live in the greatest country God ever created.
Damn straight!
The idea of conservative comedy, I don't know if that could ever exist. I think the whole idea of comedy is it inherently is subversive when it's good.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner?
Aim for the bushes.
Yeah. Oh, I love that one. Because I got to sit in the audience when we were test screening it, and they were so confident that they weren't gonna die. And I would hear people in the audience say, yeah, right, you'd never survive that. People would roll their eyes, this is ridiculous. And right when they're about to hit, suddenly the whole audience becomes aware of the fact that, oh, they're gonna die. And it was one of the great laughs I've ever heard in a packed theater. I mean, you're the 2 biggest action stars on planet Earth, like, you know, and we just killed them off. And then that song, too. There goes my hero. Like, it's just so cheeseball. I love that moment. You know, even though our movies have an element of parody to them, we always still view them as original stories. In this case, I really wanted to shoot it like a real police movie. Like, we shot it on film, we used really good stunt people, we had great act, like everything about it, I was like, let's shoot it 100% real. And then the second part of it was that we were also commenting on the economic collapse. remember saying we can't do a story about a drug dealer or a smuggler. Who cares? Like the whole world economy just collapsed. So we tried to make the whole movie an allegory for the economic collapse.
Ershon is using the lottery money to cover his losses, $32 billion. That's the state's money.
We wrote the whole movie to be that, and then I saw people responding going, why do they have those credits at the end? I was like, no, the entire movie is that. But I don't know, I think people just were paying attention to the comedy. It was kind of a lesson in a way, as far as, I guess the comedy makes it harder to kind of fully take it in. So in Anchorman 2, we went even harder. But honestly, in Anchorman 2, they didn't really respond to it either. They knew it was there, but no one really talked about it. And I was disappointed by that as well. Yeah, finally it was like, the world is so messed up. Let's just nakedly do movies about it, yeah.
Wall Street loves to use confusing terms to make you think only they can do what they do. Or even better, for you just to leave them the fuck alone. So here's Margot Robbie in a bubble bath to explain.
Basically, Louis Rainieri's mortgage bonds were amazingly profitable for the big banks. They made billions and billions on their 2% fee.
It's exactly that. And that was another scene that in some audiences got like cheers. Like no one knew it was gonna be that kind of movie. They all thought it was a certain kind of movie, and then that happened, yeah. I mean, each story kind of calls for its own rhythm and its own sort of size and proportion, and that's always tricky whenever you're doing it. You really have to get like the timing of it exactly right, and that's why I screen for audiences, because I want it to be like exactly right. You want it to pop. And that Margot Robbie scene, we had to cut that a couple different times to get it exactly right.
The vice presidency is also defined by the president. If we were to come to a different understanding.
Uh-huh. Go on.
That's where he takes power, yeah. And Bush does it happily. Doesn't even know what's coming his way. And by the way, almost word for word accurate to the real conversation they had.
Maybe I can handle some of the more mundane jobs, overseeing bureaucracy, managing military, energy, foreign policy.
Really what you're doing is you're playing with expectations, you're playing with what's comfortable, you're playing with what we already know versus what we don't know. And for me, you know, I view myself not so much as the filmmaker, but as a part of the audience. So I'm trying to make a movie that's exciting for me, that I would pay, you know, $12, $15 to go see and leave the theater and go, oh my God. I mean, that's every movie we do, that's what I'm trying to do. So you can see in Vice, I mean, the tones change, there's things that come out of nowhere. Then I also like when it gets very serious and it'll suddenly get very dark and tragic. I just think we're at a period where like maybe the old genres don't really play as much anymore. I think audiences are too sophisticated and no one really needs that comfort of a genre as much as we used to.